Special thank you to our patrons and channel members. You help to keep the channel going. If you'd like to join us and become part of exclusive content, watch parties and hangouts, hit the join button next to the subscribe button or hit our Patreon link. Let's get down to brass tacks. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on with you guys tonight? Tuesday night, we're hanging out, and what better way do we get a chance to hang out but by diving deep into Haddonfield. The Halloween franchise has had many ups and downs, a lot of ups, but even as a fan, I gotta admit, there's been a lot of downs, and tonight we're going to talk about them and see how many blunders and dumbest decisions can we come up with from the entire franchise. Just to say hey to you guys in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys so much. Hope you're having a great day and a great evening or night, depending on where you're at. Mike is in the house. What is up? Night Watch is fantastic. Well, thank you, man. Much appreciated. Thank you for always including the fans on a different level than most other channels. Well, thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. We try our best to have as much fun as we can with you, because this is what makes it so much of a great experience, is to be like, talking to other movie fans and just sharing our passion. Seriously. He says he has unique perspectives on the franchise. Halloween 5 and 6 are good Halloween movies. Kills, for example, is another great movie with a bad rep. There's definitely some bad reps for all three of those films, and we're gonna dive in and see if we can pick apart any possible issues. What's up, Keith? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got the General is in the house. What's up, Val? Good to see you. I know you'll enjoy this one. Super Tenor, what's up? Paula, what is up? Good to see you. Let's see. Emperor's in the house. What's going on? RJ's in the house. Zed's in the house. Thank you, Val, for putting the link in. If you guys would like to help support us or be a part of exclusive streams, exclusive watch parties, which we will be having this Thursday night. Last Thursday, we all experienced The Substance together, and it was a blast. The panel had fun. The folks that were able to join us had fun. So we're going to be doing that again this Thursday. So get ready. Freddy's in the house. I'm guessing some would say Halloween 3 is a blunder. That's possible. It's possible. All right. We got the Patreon link. Thank you as well for that, Val. Much appreciated. Seriously. David, what's up? Good to see you. We got Julie in the house. What's up, Julie? We'll be keeping an eye on the hairstyles and the wigs tonight throughout the franchise. All right. BTT, Gene. All right. Spoof. Hey, Spoof. What's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. All right. I think I've caught up to everyone. Now, let me just say this real quick. I won't get to everyone's comment, as much as I try to. It's virtually impossible. But usually I'm able to see most of the comments. Okay. If you have a question, if you have a comment, or if you'd like to suggest what you think is the dumbest decision and you want to make sure that we go over it, you can send in a super chat. Also helps to support the channel, but the super chats light up and it's much easier to see those amongst all of the comments. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. Now, you guys know there's 13 movies in the Halloween franchise, and just to make this even more fun, we're going to randomly pick each movie, or as many as we can tonight. We'll see how many we can get through. And then we're going to talk about what we think is either a couple of, or maybe the biggest blunder or dumbest decision. Okay, so you guys know how we do this. We're going to pull up the wheel. There we are. We got the wheel, and we've got all 13 films listed there, and we're going to go randomly. And let me also just say this too, and I said this to the channel members earlier. For the channel members that are here, and again, thank you guys for your support. If you present a really good blunder or really dumb decision made in the film, I'm going to be doing a video on it. So I will include that in the video and give you a shout out. So just want to throw that in there. Julie says we're at 16 likes. Let's go. Strange Monkeys in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. We got Mad Blood in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and having a great start to 2025. Okay, let's spin this wheel and let's start ranting. You know how we do this. Okay, okay. Oh man. Oh crap. Oh, we're starting off quick. Now, oh, oh, Halloween Ends comes up first. Now the wheel is random, guys. You know this wheel is random. I wanted to do that just for some fun, but also it kind of gives me a little bit of a challenge to go through, the movies out of order. Okay, so Halloween Ends, guys. Let's talk about Halloween Ends. You guys can put in your ideas for what you think are some of the biggest blunders or biggest blunder or dumb decision. For me, I think well, there's a couple things. Obviously, a lot of folks will talk about the presentation of Corey, bringing him in at the end of the trilogy, and that's fair. That's very fair. But I want to go even deeper than that. I want to go in deeper than that. There is no way that they should have had a film where Michael is basically presented as weaker, right? They shouldn't have had him presented in the way that they presented him, right? I get it. He was injured at the end of Kills. He was living living in the sewer. He had all these wounds that he had been inflicted on him in Halloween 2018 and Kills, right? He didn't go to the hospital, guys. Pretty sure he didn't go to the hospital. So he's just like a festering bunch of wounds. So I get that. That was interesting. But when they started this thing off and they showed him kind of getting his mojo back, because of Corey's help, that should have been kind of where they continued the film instead of turning away from that plot point. Because they really did. Like you had the scene with Nurse Deb, shout out to Nurse Deb. It was a great scene. And Michael, is kind of getting his mojo back, but they definitely should have had at least one, if not two other scenes where they showed Michael coming back. Even though this movie was about Corey, I don't have as big of a problem with that because Michael's presence was still throughout the film. But you can't just show him being so weak and then act like, okay, we're going to have this plot point where he kind of gains his strength back or his adrenaline as a killer through killing people and not go all the way with that. They just didn't go all the way with that. Okay. So that's one thing that really irritates me so much. Number two, and getting even more specific, don't let Corey take the mask the way he did. Basically WWE and Michael Myers. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's the way that it was done, right? I know a lot of people say, well, he shouldn't have been able to take away the mask. But remember, guys, Laurie's taken away the mask. Lindsay's taken away the mask. Like, so this is nothing new. Okay. And it's been done in better ways. And most recently in this trilogy, when Lindsay would take off the mask in Halloween Kills, that was fine because she's struggling. She's like, it's a last ditch effort. Corey should have like been trying to take off the mask. At first, Michael was giving him resistance, looked pretty like it was a stalemate. That was fine. But then, but then when Michael threw him to the ground, like, come on, man. Talking about, oh, you're nothing but a man in a mask. It's like, don't disrespect him. And then you had James doing the sit-up. Don't do that. Don't do that. It just doesn't work. So those are two of my big problems with ends. I've got a couple more, but let's see what you guys are saying. So I'm gonna try to go through a couple of these. I won't get to everyone. Let's see. Mad Blitz and I always felt like Laurie's character in 2018 and ends should have been switched. Oh, okay. In 2018, Michael's locked up, but she's paranoid, and ends Michael's on the loose, literally in town, but she's carefree. Yeah, I think I think that would have been an interesting way to do it. I get it. And a lot of people have said this. I've talked about ends. I've done videos on ends. My Why You Hate video on ends talked about this. You you feel like maybe she should be paranoid, right? But in the context of the story, she's lost so much, right? She's lost so much. She's lost Karen. She's lost so much because of her obsession over the years, and all she has left is Allison. So she makes the choice to move on. Now, what a lot of people, some people know the story or behind the scenes and things that were edited out and this and that. There was this whole concept or this whole plot or of Lori, going into therapy and stuff like that. And so I don't have as much of a problem with the way she was presented. I had said when we were predicting how ends was going to be, I had said it would make sense for her to be presented closer to what we saw Lori as in 78. Number one, because it's a different way to portray her than she was in 2018 and in Kills. And it would give Jamie Lee Curtis some stuff to work with, as far as trying to move on, being a grandmother to Allison and so forth. So I didn't really have a big problem with that. But if they had switched it, that would have been interesting. No doubt at all. That would have been interesting. Okay, let's see. What's up? What's up? See what else we got in here. You guys. Oh, Julie. Listen. Julie, are you serious? Listen, let's ask you guys this. Was there a transfer of evil in Halloween Ends? I'm gonna put that in. Let me put that in the live chat. I want to put this up as a poll for you guys because I'm really curious. Now, again, and Julie's messing with me. I've said this before in videos where I've covered Halloween Ends, and I've done quite a few videos where I've covered ends. In my opinion, even when we talked to James Jude Courtney when we interviewed him, he talked about that there was a transfer. I think what he means, he never said it was like an energy, like a magic beam or anything like that. I think what it was basically unlocking the door. Corey saw evil up close and it was like it freed him, kind of like how you get inspired if you're in the presence of someone that's very successful or energetic. It kind of makes you look at things differently. So that's how I look at it. Um, I don't see it as like this energy that Michael left Michael's soul and and transferred into Corey. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna write this as a poll. I'm saying, was there a transfer of evil in Halloween Ends? Okay, so it's going to be a simple it's going to be a simple yes or no. And let's just see what you guys say. I know there are a lot of people in the chat that are on both sides of the fence with this. Okay, so we got the poll up. So let's have you guys vote. Julie, if you can keep track of that. Gina, what's up? Good to see you. Emperor said the whole movie is a blunder. Val knows what's up. She said there's no transfer. No transfer. Uh, and I agree. Freddie says unaliving Corey. I agree. That was a mistake. I think that what they should have done is at the end, if they were going to pull it like that, which I think was also clunky. So that's another blunder. But I think that what they should have done is had him injured and we don't know his fate, right? And just leave it open ended. Not so much to sit there and then make some movies where Corey is the lead or what have you, but just to keep it open ended to show that evil is very tough to kill. You know what I'm saying? And he had evil in himself way before he came into contact with Michael. The radio tower. I know, man. That was a missed opportunity in a way, wasn't it? Let's see. Freddie saying it's at least different. That's true, and I appreciated a lot of aspects of it. I think overall, it was clunky, you know. Gina said, don't like that Mike was so weak though. I'd have been able to kick his ass and I'm tiny with just a baseball bat torch, which has spikes, so better than an iron. That's right. Now, Super Tenors on the transfer sites, and to me, it's not just about Michael. The entity possessing him wanted, bro. There's no entity possessing Michael. Come on, what's going on, guys? Come on. Now he's now he's like Freddie. Paul is saying dumbest mistake not introducing Corey in 2018. I agree. That was a big mistake. But I could deal with that, Again, we're not going to be able to talk about every single mistake in every single movie because then we probably won't get through all the films tonight. And I want to try to get through all the films tonight. But I think they should have introduced Corey earlier. I do. But it's a mistake that I can live with. I can live with that. Val said, let Corey getting beat up by band members. I know. They should at least made them seem a little bit more formidable, right? That would have made more sense. They were a bunch of punks, right? Rachel, what's up? Good to see you. All right. BTT saying Michael was content on dying, but hey, he came back, broke Corey's neck, and got his mask back. Right. Yeah, he was like a wounded dog going off into the woods, a wounded animal, right? He went to the sewers. That's what he did. And to me, that part made sense. I just wish that they didn't present him so weak, or when he started to kind of get back into the swing of things because of Corey interfering, keep going with that arc. Let Michael build himself back up. He could still be defeated or even killed at the end. No one's even mentioned that. There's some folks that were upset that he got killed, right? I didn't have as big an issue with that, but it's the way, it's the execution. That's what I had the issue with. Okay. Mike saying the original script for Ends takes place on the same night. Yes. And again, things happened. Obviously the pandemic happened. And I think, when you get a chance to sit on an idea, sometimes you make changes, sometimes for the better and sometimes for worse. Um, Ju- Julie said, I'm actually serious that I like the transfer. And then Val says, no, no, no transfer. Well, here's the thing, guys. Rachel saying no transfer. Julie says not messing with you. Julie, I'm about to have you come up here live, and we have to park on this for a minute. Because here's the thing, guys. AJ saying there was no transfer. Okay. Now again, I can, for those of you guys who might disagree with me and say there is a transfer, there's no problem with that. I can respect your opinion. But to me, if we're going off of what we know and what we see in the films, and knowing that David Gordon Green is coming right off of 78, right? There's no evil energy in Michael. That's not what Carpenter intended at all. We know that as a fact from Carpenter himself. Carpenter is on set with these movies. He's helping out, giving a little bit of advice and obviously working on the soundtrack. I just don't see why David would even want to make that type of change, because that's integral to Michael. That changes everything, because now he's not a man, he's supernatural, you know, or I should say he's more supernatural than he's ever been portrayed in 78. Okay, let's see. Corey's a punk. 78 Michael would have stabbed him in the face and not looked back. It's so true. It's so true. It is so true. All right. Super Tenor, what's up, man? Thank you so much. Coming in with a super chat. I always felt Michael is possessed by some entity. Really? Okay, let me ask you this. Now, don't get me wrong, and we're going to be talking about the other movies too. There were times throughout some of the other films where you literally were thinking, man, something's going on. Obviously in 6, we know that it's this cult situation. Um and I guess you could kind of say, I don't know even know if I would say possessed, but there have been times throughout the franchise. But if we're looking right now, we're talking about Halloween Ends. If you're looking at Ends following off of 78, you got 78, 2018 kills and Ends. I just don't think that that was something that was um, in David Gordon Green's head. Now when they show the scene where they're face to face, Corey and Michael, and people have said this forever. When they Michael is able to see Corey's whole life through the entity, it's like no man, it's just like it's a thematic thing for film, showing that both of these two characters have a lot of similarities. And for Corey, that I think is what kind of gave him the green light to allow his evil inside of him to kind of take the forefront. He had been bullied, he had a horrible home life, all these different types of things. So that's how I look at it. But look, real quick, Super Tender, thank you for the super chat. Let's let's do a clip. And look, we're gonna get to this as soon as the wheel chooses it, but don't forget certain things like this.
My way into network broadcasting?
That's what I'm looking
There it is. There it is. All right, Super Tender, thank you so much for the super chat, man. We really appreciate it. It definitely helps us out. Okay, let's let's keep going here. Russell saying he can't vote. Holy moly. You haven't seen any of them? Oh no, you haven't seen Ends. Okay, I get it. You should check it out, man. Julie says we got 12 votes. Let's get 24. Yeah, guys, let's have you guys vote. We got the poll in the chat. We got the poll. I'm just asking the question. Was there a transfer of evil in Halloween Ends? Okay, we're at 21 votes. We've got 29% saying yes and 71% saying no. Okay. All right. I think that I think that kind of lets me know what people think. Mary, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and happy new year to you as well. Julie's like, oh, I'm sorry, Julie. You can still believe it though. It's just well, we'll get to kills. We'll get to another one of the ones I know you love. Let's see what else we got. BTT saying there's something driving Michael though. He's not just a mere man. Now, I agree. Okay, let me be careful how I say it. I think that Michael, he's a man. Okay, Carpenter has said that. Gordon Green has said that. He's a man. He has an evil inside of him, just like there are people today that have just evil in their hearts, evil inside of them. Carpenter wanted to present him as someone that could do things that were somewhat fantastic, which we saw that in 1978. And David Gordon Green wanted to emulate that. But I don't think it's like I just don't think it's like an entity inside of him. Kind of like it's funny. Last night we were just talking about Freddy's Dead during the great Elm Street debates, and in Freddy's Dead, there was an entity inside of Freddy. Those dream demons. They are what powered Freddy, right? To me, that's nothing that's going on with Michael. At least not in this trilogy, specifically Ends. But it definitely didn't happen in '78, and that's according to Carpenter. So now, there are ways that you may think that there's the idea of an entity possessing him. There's definitely things that happen that are like, wow, how does he get shot 6 times, falls off the balcony, and gets up in less than 15 seconds? That's just crazy. That doesn't happen. But again, it is a movie. It is a movie. All right, so let's see what else. BTT saying, I think the inner evil Corey had was basically unlocked. It's an evil we all could possibly have. Exactly. That's exactly the way I would describe it. That's perfect. Can we look? I'm going to play a clip just for that. That's probably the best way to describe it. There's evil in all of us, and Corey had it. He had this interaction with Michael, and it was like basically boom, his life was changed. It wasn't, again, there's no energy beam that went from Michael to Corey, in my opinion. Okay. Hey, Rachel, member anniversary for Rachel, guys. Definitely give Rachel some love. 13 months. I was just about, she beat me to the punch. Lucky 13. Yeah, lucky 13. Thank you so thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you so much. That is awesome. Time just flies. We were saying that the other day. Okay. And Super Tender's on a roll. Michael is a person, but something else latched onto him, in my opinion. I think there are two entities making up the shape, one being Michael Myers, the other half is something else, I've always thought. I mean, that sounds cool. That definitely sounds cool. But I just don't see it like that. I think it's so much more simple than that. Now, granted, again, throughout the franchise, there have been times where it was presented in ways that you could definitely buy into that. Okay, the poll is going to end. 71% are saying there is no transfer of energy. I absolutely agree. Atrial in the chat saying no transfer. I agree. Okay, that's where we're going to park it on Halloween Ends. Again, you guys can continue to throw in some comments about it, but I think those are the big things. Now, Strange Monkey, let me jump to him. It's hard to say because of that scene in the sewers where Michael choked Corey, but they didn't go anywhere with it, so most likely no. There you go. I agree with that. Okay, let's see which movie will be next. We're taking ends off. The next film. I even got notes, guys. I could rant about these movies all. Oh shit! Here we go. I could rant about these movies all day. Man. Hey, look. All I gotta say is this: Halloween Resurrection, guys. You guys have to understand. This is officially, and I'm a huge Halloween fan. Okay, I really been a fan since I was a little kid. This is one of the franchises that got me on my horror journey. Once I saw Resurrection, I kind of walked out of the door, walked out of the house in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, what are they doing? What is going on? We are so lost as as a fandom, and it was rough, bro. Here's some of the biggest issues and dumbest maneuvers in Resurrection. I think number one, the way that they presented and did away with Lori, it really was a disservice to her, to me, in my opinion. Okay. I think it was very stupid, you know, how they tried to retcon H2O. I think they could have come up with something better. I really do. And I'm not saying it's easy to do, but I think they could have come up with a better way or even a better way to present it. The opening of Resurrection is actually pretty good. And I've said this. I've been um very vocal about I like the opening of it. It's got some creepy moments. You got the guy that's reciting all the dates. I liked that aspect of it. Michael stalking throughout the asylum. But here's where the problem comes into play. Laurie's got a game plan, and the way that she walks up to Michael and is going to take off the mask, it just come on, you don't do that. She's smarter than that. She really does. She really is smarter than that. And I also thought that the way that that was executed, and maybe it was a question of how much time Jamie Lee Curtis had to film the scenes that could be possible, but I thought that that was so much more inferior to the hospital chase scene in Halloween 2. And it's directed by Rick Rosenthal, both films. And I'm like, how is the same director got one scene, or I should say setup, that is so tense, well done, well shot, and then you've got Resurrection where it's just kind of like it just doesn't look good, guys. And I knew right off the bat I was in trouble. Michael, he decides to drive halfway across the country or what have you to find Lori, or I should say going back to Haddonfield, stopping at 7-Eleven, getting gas and Slurpees. It's just like, come on, guys, this is kind of ridiculous. Okay, you don't see Freddie traveling all over the country, and neither do you see Jason. I mean, he went to New York, but supposedly that was really close to Crystal Lake. So, anyways, that was a huge issue, and obviously, Dangertainment. Busta Rhymes was a lot of fun, and Rachel, I knew Rachel would say that. Love me some Dangertainment, Freddie. He was fun in a really cringy way. He was. But they leaned into that way too much, man. You just saw the super chat clip I played. Come on, man. I look, you can't be doing that in a Halloween movie. Michael is barely killing anyone. And he's actually in this movie. You could argue that Michael was more effective in Halloween Ends than he was in Resurrection. Okay. Um, I remember talking with my brother too. The sound design. When Michael pulls the knife out or slashes it through the air, you'd think he was holding Excalibur. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing? I think that the characters lacked as well. I don't think they put enough time in trying to make the characters people that we were even invested in, right? April saying Dangertainment was gold. It- yeah, it was. Oh, stop, Julie. We haven't got the kills yet. I knew you were waiting for it. He did not say give it back. Oh my gosh. And Super Tenor, he did say that. But I think what he meant, because you got to remember, and if you watch that interview, he was talking about how he was getting inspiration, throughout his spiritual endeavors and all these different things. Like James was talking about that. And then that question had come up in the chat, and we asked him about it. And I think he was really talking about it in that way, rather than saying, okay, there's this evil demon, entity or whatever in Michael, and he transferred into Corey. That's honestly what I think. If I ever get James back, or if I ever get the chance, I haven't talked to him in a little while, but he is really cool, man. Like, I've gotten a chance to talk to him a couple times. He is really cool. But I will ask him that. I don't even know if he'd have an answer for it, or if he'd even want to give an answer, But okay, that's he did say that, didn't he? Oh man, I tell you. Thank you, Julie, for putting the link into James's interview. That was so much fun, guys. You guys, seriously, we were losing our shit, getting a chance to talk with the shape. Okay, let's see. BTT saying this is what is keeping Halloween alive and well. We all have so many theories that could be right or wrong. It's all up to interpretation to a degree. That is true. No, it's very, very true. Freddie says Busta Rhymes Kung Fu. You knew I was going to get there. Listen. Oh my God. Listen, guys, and it's not just because I've studied martial arts since I was a kid. Um, that was just some bad martial arts, bro. It was almost as bad as in Nightmare 4, right? With the karate with Rick. Actually, it probably was worse in a way because Busta's also kind of doing the whole stereotypical wah, making noises and stuff like that. It was just bad. It's like, come on, man, you don't do Michael like that. Michael was not weak in this film, but he literally got defeated by Busta Rhymes' horrible looking martial arts. It's bad, guys. It's really, really bad. Resurrection. Resurrection damn near killed the franchise. It did. It did. Rachel saying we love Freddy and Dangertainment. This movie is oh, come on, man. She's, she just wanted me to read that out loud. The movie's a 2000s masterpiece. Where else are you going to get Michael decapitating people in a single blow? Exactly. I will say that. He did, man. He didn't even use a lot of strength. It's like, come on now. Maybe he was possessed at that point to be able to do that. Val saying 100% night, that whole opening scene sucked ass. It did, man. But here's the thing that upset me the most about it, Val, is that it had to um it had the possibilities, right? Because it's an asylum or a mental hospital. It's like you could have so many cool things in there, creepy moments. And it had a few, but once Michael he literally stepped through the door. He didn't even put any effort into it. He just stepped through it like it was paper mache. And, and it's like Lori's like half running throughout the corridor. Now, granted, you could say she was trying to bait him to her trap, and I get that. But just the way that it was shot, there was no tension, there was no investment. And like I said, once Lori gets to the roof, they go off the cliff. They go off the cliff. Super Tender saying, I think part 5 is worse than Resurrection. Have fun with Resurrection Part 5 crapped all over 4 and makes me mad. Ooh. Well, we might have to get to that if the wheel chooses it. Okay. Gina saying nothing bad to say about Resurrection. It's a great laugh in my eyes and cheers me up when I'm down. Well, I'm glad that it does cheer you up when you're down. That is a good thing. Seriously. Julie saying we're at 34 likes. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out, and we appreciate it. Freddie saying Resurrection is at least watchable. 5 is just boring. Well, we'll see if we get to 5. We'll see. We should, as long as we've got time. Sean's coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sean. Much appreciated. It really helps us out. Thank you for being here as well. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. And we're on this Halloween kick, so let's just do another clip. And sometimes you got to be careful who you piss off, or it might look like this.
If that girl dies tonight,
There it is. There it is. Super Tedder. I took karate for 2 weeks, and soon so many people tooted while stretching. It was after dinner time. That was good. I like that. I know, Val. She says, I mean, come on now, taking out the shape by shocking his balls. Just no. Oh man, that's great. All right. Let's see. Who else? Eric in the house. What's up, brother? Saying Lori falls for the trick and must see if it's really Michael under the mask. A face she hasn't seen since the one time in 78. Yeah, makes her seem so dumb. It really did, man. Because how would she know? That's number one. But here's the other thing, bro. He's in the asylum coming after you. I don't care if it's Mr. Rogers. You got to let him fall. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why even go? And look, and some people who like this scene, and I know there are some people that do, maybe some of you guys here, some people will say, well, it's because she was just dealing with the trauma of killing an innocent man in H2O. Okay, yeah. Look, you got to let him fall, bro. You can't walk up to Michael Myers, that close to Michael, and try to take his mask off. It's just not going to work. If he was knocked out, like if she shot him with a tranquilizer or something like that, granted, that'd be probably almost impossible in her situation. But if she had done something like that and he was out cold, maybe, but not when he's sitting there, wiggling around. You just can't do that. Mike saying Laurie's death was death of the original timeline. The way it was done was crazy bad. It was, man. It was horrible. I mean, again, Laurie is a smart character. That's the way she's always been portrayed. And this was like easily the dumbest thing she'd ever done in the franchise. Easily. We got Frank in the house. What's up, Frank? He says, hey, Knight, I still can't believe the beginning of Resurrection. Terrible. It was terrible, man. It was, and as soon as I saw it, man, I knew I was in trouble. I knew. Right from then and there, I was in trouble. Okay. Let's see. Eric said, Michael literally busted through the door to get you. It's him, Lori. Again, makes her seem so dumb. I know, man. It's like, who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? It's like, come on, man. You got to keep going with that. Okay. Let's take Resurrection off. We've had some fun with that. Let's see what is the next film that we're going to rant about. Oh. and I just played the clip. All right, guys. If you've been around this channel or this community long enough, you already know a couple of the things I'm going to talk about. And we're going to start right here. Witchy Nick Cage. Witchy Nick Cage, man. It's like, look, man, I get it. They changed the mask. This is such a ridiculous mask. I can't even get over it. Shout out, though, in all respect to Don Shanks, who played Michael. You have someone that has a different facial structure than George P. Wilbur. Rest in peace to George P. Wilbur. You got to figure it out, bro. If nothing else, just make that mask like the last one. We know you had extra ones because there was a blonde mask somewhere, right? So I just don't understand why that mask looks so bad, guys. Look at that. It looks nothing like Michael. I thought 4 was bad with the mask. This is horrendous shit. Okay. Now, that's the surface. Okay. That's the surface, but easily to me. Okay, guys. And again, it's just my opinion. And I wrote it down as my number one thing for Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And that's killing Rachel in the first 4 minutes of the film by stabbing her in the shoulder. what, what, what are we doing? Why? Why? Listen, anybody with half a brain, let's go back to Genius University for a second. If you've been watching my Why You Hate videos, you get the reference. Let's go back to Genius University. Halloween 4, part of what made it so awesome was the chemistry that Danielle Harris had, okay, with Ellie Cornell, who played Rachel. That was a great team up. And you got the best of both worlds. You had a teenage character and you had a little kid, right? So you're having that regular teenage character that can do what you would usually see in a slasher film, but you also have a kid that adds that danger. It's like, oh my gosh, will this kid be a victim? All right. So that was great. That dynamic, they were like, fuck it, and blew it up in Halloween 5. They're like, nope, we're going to kill Rachel off. We're going to make Jamie Lloyd mute, which I didn't understand that either. You got this amazing young child actor in Danielle, and you're gonna make her mute, and it didn't really serve the purpose of the movie. You could have easily shown her to be traumatized by the events of 4, and of course the ending, which was one of the greatest endings, not only in the franchise but in horror. Okay, just make her traumatized. We know that they weren't going to make her the new Michael because no energy was transferred. even even back in 1988, no energy was transferred. But why make her mute? You bring in Tina, and again, and I've said this many times, is no disrespect to the idea of bringing in a new character. I think Tina served a purpose, right? Tina had some fun moments, but there were also some annoying moments. But the truth be told, that's a dime a dozen in horror films, and especially when you're talking about slashers, right? So, when you look at Tina as a character and Wendy Kaplan, again, no disrespect, I think it was a poor decision to have her kind of be a stand-in for Rachel because it just didn't work. I didn't believe it enough, right? You've got this setup where Rachel and Jamie, they're sisters, they've been through a lot, and you have a friend that obviously comes in and 35% into the film basically is the new surrogate sister. I didn't buy it. It didn't work. Again, I loved her energy. There was fun moments with the energy, but again, no disrespect to Wendy Kaplan. You guys let me know what you think about Tina. Um, Val saying dumbest decision for 5, the mask and killing Rachel off. Yes. Yes. Um, BTT saying witchy Nick Cage alien mask. Zed saying crazy Jamie's the worst part of 5. No, I don't think crazy Jamie's the worst part. I don't even know if I'd say she's crazy. I mean, she's mute. Now that was a horrible decision. That was a horrible decision. That mask looks like the guy from Saw. Freddie Santina's absolutely terrible. There you go. And Eric, you hit it right on the money. The cops with the clown noises. Why are you doing that in a Halloween film? Why? What purpose did that serve? We know that the cops are always, a bunch of idiots, except for very few throughout the franchise. So we don't need to hear the clown noises. We know they're clowns. It's like, wow. Tina, her friends, Michael being cared for by a hobo for a year, a mute Jamie. I could go on. Yeah, Michael in his whatever you want to call it, coma or whatever, that was kind of like, uh, yeah, that wasn't fun. Jeremy's in the chat. Welcome to the chat, Jeremy. Hope you're enjoying the conversation and doing well. Say honestly, I prefer 5 over Resurrection and Ends. However, it's a very thin line. I prefer 5 over Resurrection as well. Also, guys, if you haven't had a chance to see our ranking of the franchise through the great debates, definitely check that out. I think that that was a lot of fun, and we had those films ranked by a score instead of just our opinion, so that was a lot of fun. Frank says it looks like Kramer from Saw. Yes. Yes, Mike, they upgraded the house. I was going to get to that too. All of a sudden, the Myers house is like a freaking fortress. Okay. It's like lifestyles of the rich and psychotic. That house is huge. When they set up the bait near the end, and that's where I was going to go next. You guys knew it. When they're setting up Jamie at the end as the bait, bro, she's like 8 stories up off the ground. How did this house get so huge? And I get it. You go to different locations, things change, all of that. But come on, man. You got to get closer to the house. Here's the other part. This is not a blunder, but it was really weird how unhinged they had Donald playing Loomis. I actually loved it. I played the clip a few minutes ago. If the girl dies tonight, I mean, he's yelling in Danielle Harris's face, pulling her by her arm. It's like, what? How unhinged is Loomis? It's like, wow. He's throwing kids around, use them as bait. Come on, get the girl. You know you want her. It's like, wow. Rachel saying Halloween 5, justice for Tina. She's way too overhated. I mean, the girl's just enjoying her night until she isn't. You know, I can agree with that. Mostly anyways. I do think she gets a lot of hate. Maybe some of it stems from the fact that Rachel was just killed way too early. If Rachel was going to be killed in Halloween 5, they should have done it no earlier than halfway through the movie. No earlier than that. And it's got to be a better way to kill her. She saves Jamie, right? That's the thing that would have made the most sense. She saves Jamie and make it a little bit of a better kill than getting stabbed in your shoulder. I mean, come on, she's tougher than that, right? But I think that's part of what makes the hate for Tina so strong, because we all wanted Rachel, right? But like I said, there are moments in the movie where I'm okay with Tina. Overall, I'm all right with her. I'm just pissed off that Rachel got killed the way she did. Okay. Definitely Zed. They should have kept Rachel. I agree with that. You guys, let me know. Is killing Rachel the worst decision in Halloween 5? You guys let me know. Just put in a yes or a no in the chat. I'd love to see if that's what everyone thinks. Because in my opinion, if Rachel was in the film, at least 50% of the film, if not a little bit longer, I think it would have been a better movie. David in the house. She didn't talk because they rushed the script. They did rush the script. They were starting up production on this. Like Halloween 4 barely had gotten into the theaters before they started getting going on 5. And they definitely rushed it. We've talked about this ad nauseum. The director was not really well versed in Halloween and wasn't really wanting to follow in the mythology of the franchise. So there were a lot of things. They were cutting corners right and left, in other words, which was too bad. It was too bad. Jeremy saying the score for 5, especially in the beginning, is pretty good. I think so too. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It was okay in the beginning. I was okay with it. Julie's saying the only good thing we got in 5 was the water slide. That's true, man. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play that clip. I haven't played that in a while. Michael being cared for by a hobo for a year. Did the hobo feed him, help him to the bathroom somehow? Come on. I know it was, guys. They would have been better off showing him, coming down through the cave in, leading out to the water. And sure, if he gets, you know, helped by the hobo because the hobo's blind, whatever. Show him there and then show him kind of leaving and then just kind of going off. We don't need to know where he is, right? We don't need to know where he is for that year. Okay, let's see what maybe there was a transfer to the hobo and back once Michael healed. Stop the lying. Look at Julie. You guys, I'm telling you. David, yeah, they turned the Myers house into a castle. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Unhinged Loomis using a child as a human shield is fantastic. It is. I was, watching it now is so much fun in a way because, knowing these movies and this character as I do, and just watching the choices that he's making. And it's like, God, it's too funny, man. It is way too funny. Okay. Stuart's in the house. What's up? Good to see you. Saying justice for Rachel. I agree. We got to get justice for Rachel. No doubt. No doubt. Yes, we got a bunch of yeses. Rachel's kill was the worst. Okay. We're going to definitely, and I believe that as well. That's definitely going to be the talking point when I get to 5. That is definitely going to be the talking point for my video. Obviously, tonight, we put that out there already. David saying they should have killed Tina at the beginning and let Rachel live. Yeah, I think if they had switched it around, let Tina have a few more scenes where she's with Rachel and Jamie, showing that she's a part of their lives. You have to give the character some weight before she's either killed, as David is saying, and I agree, they should have switched it around. Or as we saw in the film, she's kind of the surrogate sister. Like, I got to have a little bit more investment, see more of her interactions. I know you're telling me what's going on, but I'm not seeing it. Like in 4, what was cool is seeing the progression of Rachel and Jamie. Okay. Like at first, Rachel was the typical older sibling wanting to do what she wanted to do, go out, hang out with the friends, go on a date. She didn't want to babysit. And that was a sticking point for the two of them, and they grew together. That's what made 4 so good with their chemistry and relationship. You saw a progression. So by the time you get 70% into the film and the shit's going down, you're on board with them as sisters. You're rooting for both of them, right? That's some of the beauty of 4, which they totally shit on in 5. So, oh man. Um Eric saying no, killing Rachel isn't the worst decision. There's so much more that's awful that I already mentioned. There is a lot of awful stuff, man. But you know what? If Rachel was in the film and she was able to be like she was in 4, that chemistry between the two of them, I could have dealt with pretty much almost everything else, I think. I'd have to think a little bit more about it, but I just killing her was so stupid. My God. It was just so stupid. Um Stuart saying, "How come part 6 never gets the hate resurrection has?" Oh, I think it does get the hate. Well, we're gonna see tonight when we pick it. We're gonna see tonight, but it definitely gets a lot of hate. Maybe not as much. That's an interesting question. Maybe let's put that in the poll. If we pull up 6, I'll put that in the poll. What's up, Rod? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. The water slide looked fun as hell, though. It did. All right. All right, let's go to our next. Herbert, what's up? Saying love Halloween 5. Well, there you go. Okay. It's good to see some fans in it. I mean, look, I can have fun with it. I can have fun with it. There's things that are good in it, but there's a lot of things I had issues with. Russell saying good night. Take it easy, man. Hope you have a good night, and we'll see you soon. Thursday night, we're going to be having our members a watch party. So for all the channel members, all the members of Patreon, we're going to be having a blast, just like we did last week. So hope to see you there, Russell. Take it easy. Let's see what our next film is going to be, guys. Let's see what we're going to get next. Oh hell, there it is. Okay, okay. All right. Happy Halloween. Okay, guys. This is where it's gonna get interesting. We're gonna get down to brass tacks. Guys, start telling me, what are your issues, if you have any? What are the blunders of Rob Zombie's Halloween, or the dumbest decisions? To me, I'm gonna start off with, I think that the tone, okay? I think that the tone is unbalanced. And we know that, and I think that that's pretty much a fact, because if you look at the first half of it and then the second half, the first half, Rob Zombie is telling the backstory of Michael, and it has, that really trashy tone, which, it is what it is. I can still enjoy this movie. But then you have the second half of the film, which is basically his remake or his version of 78. It's unbalanced. It's just, it is what it is. Like, it's painfully clear that cutoff point between the two halves. If it is, 50-50, it might be, 45-65. I mean, 55. So, but I think that it's unbalanced, and it just didn't work for me. Like, it didn't feel like it was as engaging of a Halloween film because of that unbalanced, right? That unbalanced nature. I do think that the way that they portrayed Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis in the scenes at Smith's Grove, I think that was very effective. That was really some good scenes. I think Sherry Moon Zombie was actually very good in those scenes, which was seeing how Michael was brought up, his background, his family. Everybody's an asshole except for Deborah Myers and, of course, Laurie. So it was refreshing to see those scenes at Smith's Grove. But then you just twist all of that on its head, right? I think another bad decision for the film was, because of it being unbalanced, I didn't have enough time with Laurie Strode. So that elongated finale just went on. We talked about this before too. It went on way too long. When it got to the part where she's back in the house and hiding up in the rafters in the ceiling, and he's like taking the 4x4, and he's like just, smashing up the ceiling for 8 minutes. It's like, this is going on way too long. The shaky cam, that didn't help. I mean, it didn't work as well as I think it could have. And it's not even about Rob Zombie, because I like a lot of his movies. So let's see what you guys have to say. The kid that played Michael was awful. I don't I don't have a huge issue um the way that he was played as a kid. I don't have a huge issue with that. I think the execution of some of the stuff around him kind of turned me off. Val said the dumbest decision is making the movie at all. There, there you go. Julie is calling him out. Ronnie, William Forsythe, we love him. Um, that was just way over the top. Again, I get it. Rob Zombie was trying to have this certain aesthetic that he has in a lot of his films, and that's fine. But man, he was going all the way to 100 with Ronnie. Just in that scene alone, just, the verbal barrage that he was spewing. It was crazy. Super Tenor saying the same thing. I just think it went too far, right? Mike saying, Halloween 2007, great first half, meh second half. Loomis sucks in this universe as well, in my opinion. You know, and we'll obviously get to Halloween 2, and I've definitely got some interesting thoughts on that. I think Loomis in this one was all right. I don't think, first of all, it's an impossible task for even a seasoned and an amazing actor like Malcolm McDowell to step in the shoes of Donald Pleasance. I give him credit for not trying to just copy and paste, you know, and the story lent itself to something different. Seeing Loomis with Michael at Smith's Grove, right? Those are things we had never gotten a chance to see like this. That was great. But, once Michael escapes, Loomis just didn't feel, I just didn't feel the same type of investment in him. Now, some of that obviously is because of my connection to Donald Pleasance, but I've heard that from so many other people too. So I think that there was a lot of issues. There was just a lot of issues. It's tough to remake a film, and it's, you're going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Rachel saying, "Oh my God, where to start? We could be here till tomorrow. We could." Julie says, "I know you love the breakfast scene so much, Rachel." Right? Freddie saying the second half was good. The second half had moments. I really do. But I think the second half, Lori, Annie, and Linda, in my opinion, just my opinion, guys, needed at least, I'd say, 15 minutes more. Again, the movie is split between Michael as a kid and at Smith's Grove, and then basically the remake of Halloween 78. The part that is the remake of 78 needed more time so that the characters could like really, just have more weight to them. The other thing too is that, and again, it is what it is, but Rob Zombie having so many different cameos, obviously we had Danny Trejo and we had Sid Haig. And when you talk about Dee Wallace, like it was cool seeing Laurie's parents. Of course, we didn't get much of that at all in 78, just in the opening. So there was time spent away, from Laurie, and Annie and Linda. And I think that that would have made the second half better. Emperor saying the film's unbalanced because of the studio wanting a remake while Zombie wanting to make an actual dissection of a serial killer, which is why he almost didn't do the sequel. Absolutely. And I've talked about that in my Halloween videos. The studio definitely made this a horrendous situation for Rob Zombie. And I do feel bad for Rob Zombie. I truly do. As much as I have issues with some of the things that happened, some of it was, the studio just interfering way too much. Way too much. Okay, let's see. Stewart saying violence over suspense. Well said. Well said. I think with Rob Zombie wanting to get this whole serial killer vibe, that's one thing. But the intensity and violence that took the place of the suspense, I just think that it it made Michael, more like Jason in a way, which is so weird to say. Um, I think the violence was just unbalanced with the suspense. Whereas if you watch something like 2018, right? Not to jump around because we're not at 2018 yet, but 2018 was able to have, violent kills, but it also had a lot of suspense, and I think that had a much better balance of the two. Freddie saying Tyler Mane was great. He was great for what he was asked to do. I agree. He was great. But again, Tyler, and I've said this before, Tyler is uh whatever he is, 6'8", obviously a very, very tall Michael Myers and imposing physical person. It's like, bro, how could he not be Michael Myers? He's just, in the killing, it's like it's so believable that he could do those things, like lifting up Bob right up on the wall. But when I see Nick Castle do it, or I see James Jude Courtney do it, it's like it's more believable because these guys are more of an average size. And it's like, well, how do they have that strength? And that's part of the little back and forth you have in your mind about, is this more than a man? We know he is, but I'm just saying, if you're physically going to have someone the size of the Hulk, then it takes away from that mystery a little bit. And that is the last point I want to make, taking away the mystery of Michael. It's interesting to see those things of his backstory, but we lost the mystique. We lost the mystique. Rachel saying, I'll say what I've always said about Zombies Halloween, which is he tried too much to squeeze a zombie film into the Carpenter mold and it didn't work. Also, the violence drags out way too much. It does. That finale, way too long. Way too long. Mark's in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Who else? Just trying to catch up with you guys again. I'm not going to get to everybody. Julie saying, loved Tyler Mane. Yeah. Yep. Stuart saying it was a big step up from Resurrection. It was. Val, yep. And I was just saying that, Val, another dumb decision, giving an explanation. Exactly. I think that you just don't do that. You just don't. I know I'm not going to catch up to everyone in the chat. Of course, if you, I just saw it. If a super chat lights up and it is easy to find, thank you, Ben. Much appreciated. Coming in with a $20 super chat saying, greetings and salutations, horror fam. Just got out of The Damned. Wow, just wow. Dumbest thing Halloween did was not carry on with the anthology series. I love most of the movies after a season of The Witch. That would have been interesting. That would have been interesting. And of course, now we'll never know unless they ever do something probably on TV, carrying on with the anthology idea. But I thought that would have been really cool. And I think that, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, I think they were onto something that could have been a lot of fun. It really could have, but it didn't happen, which is too bad. It really is. Ben, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Seriously, I appreciate that. It helps us out, and I'm glad you enjoyed the movie tonight. We'll do a super chat clip, and I just want to make sure I've got everyone else situated in the chat. Well, hey, Hollywood guy also coming in with a super chat. Night of Rob Zombie would make a Scream movie. Would you be worried about hell yeah, bro? He cannot be even. Don't let him nowhere near Scream. No, 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 bro. That was like the easiest question I've had, and I don't even know how long on this channel. No, Rob Zombie, he works well in his lane. Rob Zombie could have done something like TCM, okay? Maybe Friday the 13th, maybe. Halloween was a little too far out of his lane, to be honest. And Scream is like in another universe. I don't think Rob Zombie has the nuance to really do a Scream film, The way he would do it, it would be a totally different animal, no doubt. You guys let us know what you think. I don't think there's any way he could do a Scream film justice. It'd have to be a situation where someone else writes the whole thing and it's scripted out, and all Rob Zombie does is shoot the film, and has, some of his director flair as far as the camera work. That'd be the only way he could do it. It would work very well as a Scream film. What do you guys think? Hollywood guy, Ben, thank you guys so much for the super chats. Let's give a shout out to the guy that started this whole thing, Mr. John Carpenter himself. Here we go. There we go. Our good friend Sarah loves that clip. And Val, thank you so much for giving a shout out to the folks helping to support the channel. We appreciate it, and it helps us so much. It really does. Okay. We got Young in the house. What's up? Coming in with it. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it, man. Seriously. Hope you're enjoying this conversation and the craziness that we're trying to get into here. Okay. Let's go. You guys are too funny, man. Let's go into our next film. Let's see what we get next on the wheel. Oh man. Okay. Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018. Let's start it up, guys. What are your issues with 2018? I'm going to tell you guys this. BTT said Nev Campbell would be cussing like a sailor in Rob Zombie's Scream. I know, right? Oh my God. He could do a remake to Wrong Turn. You're right. Wrong Turn would work. That would work, no doubt. For 2018, I don't have a lot of issues with 2018. I really don't. But I will cover some that some people talk about that I can understand why they feel that way. Now, the one thing I do want to throw out there that I know a lot of people have issues with is, the arc that Sartain had. Now, I'm mixed on it. Okay. I think it's more about the execution of the twist that was kind of jarring. I think Sartain was fine, especially in the opening. I thought that was fine. He knows Michael. He's giving us a little bit of the backstory on what's been going on with this character for 40 years. I had no issue with that. I also didn't have an issue with after the bus crash, and he's obviously the person that's left standing, and giving Frank and Barker some backstory to what's going on with Michael. I didn't have an issue with that, but when we get to the twist, and even before the twist, it's almost like I think the way they should have executed it was have a little bit more nuance to it. Like, he is obsessed with Michael, maybe even a little unhinged. Like when he sees Laurie the first time, he's like, "Oh my God, you're Laurie Strode. I know everything about you." Like, okay, that's fine. Let's play off of that angle a little bit more, that type of rhythm a little bit longer, right? Before we go full blown, villain. When they see Michael and Frank is going at Michael at 100 miles per hour, hits Michael. To me, I think what they should have done, you go up to Michael, he's not dead, and Sartain knew that. I think it should have been a situation where Michael gets back up, and then there might have been a struggle. Now, again, at the time, we thought Frank was killed. We thought Officer Harkins was killed. I love the character. But if you chose to have Michael kill him, then that would have been fine. And then having Sartain right there with Michael, or even if they had incapacitated Michael, I think that would have been better. And letting that whole arc of Sartain, kind of devolving, letting that take longer, because it was just very jarring the way they did it. That was a huge issue that a lot of people had, and I had some issue with it too. Because when I saw it in the theater, I looked over at Killian. I was like, "Wait a minute, what? What happened?" uh, I'm glad you loved the clip, Ben. I have fun with that one. I really do. Julie beat me to the punch again. The weird humor, like peanut butter on my penis. That's right. I think that, and again, Danny McBride had some good ideas. I think he definitely added um layers to the characters, his involvement in the project. But I do think they leaned a little too hard into some of that, like that scene. I agree with that. I really do. Again, when I first saw it, I just remember in the theater, me and Kill, we were just like kind of getting that look like, what? So that was kind of messed up. Um, I think also, again, these movies it's a trilogy, but I think that they left a couple of loose threads, right? Because at the end, when Allison stabs Michael to save, her mother and grandmother and all that type of stuff, and then at the end, kind of giving us that sense of, zooming in on the knife. I think what would have been really cool, and again, we're not at Kills yet, we'll get there, but I think what would have been cool in Kills is to show her a little bit more broken. I think that would have been really cool. Um, Again, she'd gone through a lot through 2018. It wasn't like she was happy-go-lucky, but yeah. Let's see. Stuart said, "I wish the movie followed the podcasters investigating Michael for the whole movie." I think that, um, I think Aaron, listen, I think that I was okay with them being killed, but I think that it should have been a little bit further. I think they could have been followed a little bit longer. They were interesting, and it was an interesting take on the movie, but it does take away from Allison and Laurie and Karen and so forth. So I wouldn't be on board with them being throughout the whole movie. I don't think there was enough room for them as characters, but I would have been fine with them staying in a little bit longer, because I think that they had interesting moments, and I really enjoyed seeing them in the beginning of the film. Um, I think if they were there the whole movie, that would have thrown off the balance for the other characters. Let me know what you guys think. But the bathroom scene was fantastic. I think that was a fantastic scene. There was a lot of tension. And again, there was violence, but there was also so much suspense, right? And I think that that's the way that you do it. I felt bad. Let me just say this. I felt bad for both of them. Obviously, Dana, I mean, it's like, man, that's a horrible way to die. they're kind of playing off of the scene that we saw in H2O, and this is the bad, this is the bad version, or at least bad for the character, of what can happen if you're at a rest stop and Michael is there. So again, I liked the podcasters. I think they were very cool. I would have liked to seen them in the film, give them another 10 minutes maybe. I don't think that would have thrown off the balance of the film, you know. But they did have deleted scenes. So, maybe it was a question of the pacing. They were thinking, "Hey, we got to change up the pacing a little bit, tighten up the pacing a little bit more." So, anyways, interesting point. Interesting point. BTT saying not introducing Corey in 2018 as a character. Yeah, that was definitely a dumb decision. But of course, that's hindsight, right? If we just look at 2018 as it was when it came out, that's kind of how I'm looking at these. Well, it is. That's the way I'm looking at these. Okay. Mike saying 2018 is the Force Awakens of horror films. I like that. All right. Val saying the blunder, Dr. Sartain being able to move the shape. No way that's happening. That little potato moving a deadweight Michael. That's true, man. He moved him pretty easily, didn't he? Rachel saying, goddamn knockoff Loomis pisses me off. I want to know what evil is. Shut up, Sartain. You will never be Loomis. But I will say this, Rachel. I think what was cool, tell me what you think on this, Rachel, and the rest of you guys. I think what was cool about Sartain is it showed, to me anyways, what Loomis could have been if he was, consumed by the obsession. Like we saw him become more unhinged, Loomis, through the movies. But to me, Sartain was that picture of what Loomis could have been, like truly becoming evil, you know, his obsession just consuming him, that infection, so to speak. Julie saying, Val, yeah, there's no way. Potato. I know. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. Julie saying 2018 and Kills are nearly perfection. Ooh. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm going to agree. I don't think there's a lot that is bad with 2018. I really don't, and from what I see from you guys here, I don't see a lot of other points either. And I think, look, there's a reason that film did so well, and it has a high RT score, and it was just very successful. Rachel saying that's a fair point, Knight, but I think his 180 was so random. Yeah, it was jarring. Like I said earlier, it was jarring. And out of nowhere, that will always feel a little ridiculous to me. Maybe it needed more buildup. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think they should have had him kind of showing little moments where you're like, man, this guy, he's way too much into this you know relationship with Michael, right? Let that build up a little bit more, so it has more suspense. And then when he crosses over, I think it makes more sense, right? That's what I think. Val saying, Knight, I talked about that in the video I made about the two. Sartain is what Loomis would have been if he was still alive. Yes. And I remember you saying that. And I totally agree, Val. I totally agree. I think that, and you guys check out that video by Val. Val, you can put the link in the chat because that was a really good video. I think that, you know, and I don't know if that was the intention of David Gordon Green and the writers, but it just feels like it, even if it's just a natural outcome, that's what it was. Is showing, what could have happened to Loomis if he was consumed by this obsession with Michael. So there we go. BTT saying to backtrack a bit, we needed more Lindsay Wallace and ends. That's a good point. I don't. That's a small blunder or a small dumb decision to me, but I do agree with it. If you're going to bring her into ends, which originally wasn't the idea, they did that because of how well she was received in Kills, which is fine, and I think it was good to have her come back in ends, but do a little bit more with her. You know what I'm saying? Have a scene or two where maybe her and Lori are just talking, and as Lori is healing, that would have helped Lori and her depiction and ends a bit more. And who else could she really talk to? She wouldn't want to really um have that conversation with Allison because Allison is trying to heal as well. But Lindsay would understand it, you know? So um well said, BTT. Well said. Rachel saying, yes, agree, Knight. Yeah, just give it more time. And Super Tender saying, how was it jarring? He orchestrated Michael getting out. Well, I just think that because listen, here's the thing. Again, hindsight is 2020. I'm talking about these decisions as if I'm just watching the film. What makes sense. I mean, sometimes you can look at it the other way too. Like the film and you studied it, and now you're gonna pick out the things that were dumb. But when you're watching the movie, you don't know exactly what happened with the bus crash and how invested he was in Michael's freedom, right? So I think if they had given him another, at least 10 minutes and showing these little moments where you see, those little reflections of evil, how he's so obsessed. And then if he was to do that scene where he tried to kill Hawkins to save Michael, that would have made more sense to me, I think. Rory's in the house. What's up? Good to have you. Saying hi, folks. Sorry, I'm late. Been watching Saltburn. Oh, tell us how you liked it. Hey, but we're glad you're able to make it. Thanks for being here. Yeah, exactly, Rachel. That's what I was saying. You only realize that after the fact. It's not obvious in the moment. At least it wasn't to me. Yeah, we didn't know that he orchestrated the crash. Freddie saying, I can't wait till we get to Halloween 3. I love it. Uh, um, BTT saying I would have loved it if they reintroduced Lindsay Wallace in 2018 somehow too, but that may have been one too many characters to juggle. Yeah, it would have been too many characters. Yeah, I think it was fine that she came in and kills. I was okay with that. Yeah, and it made sense too because, granted, Lindsay could have had a relationship with Lori. Obviously they went through what they went through in '78, and so they could have been close, but the way that Lori was presented in 2018, she wasn't very social. So it makes sense that we didn't see Lindsay, right? And of course, in Kills, they were celebrating, you know, being survivors. So I think it made sense. Yeah, I think it made sense. All right. Yeah, the doctor wanted to see Michael in the wild, Mike. Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, guys. Let's see what we're gonna go to next. We've had some interesting ones so far. We've had a couple tough ones too. There's one that I definitely don't want it to land on yet. Oh, there it is. Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch. Guys, for some of you guys, because some of you guys are new to the channel and to the community, but I've just got to tell this quick little um aside. This is a movie that I used to hate with an unbridled amount of passion as a kid. I truly hated it so much. Um, I just didn't understand it. But it's a movie that I've turned around on, and it's one of the best well, not one of the best, but it's definitely a really good example of how films can change over time. Now, obviously, the biggest issue that I know most people have with 3, and I did too, is is that Michael is not in it. How are you gonna call the movie Halloween 3 and Michael is not in it? You know, here's 2 things about that. Like, if you had set up something like in 2, maybe that it would've been easier to swallow. Of course, they didn't know what they were gonna be doing. Carpenter wanted to kill off Michael in 2 and then move on with the anthology, and that's fine. But the fact that Michael is not in it is the biggest issue, okay? The other thing about it as well is it was marketed horribly. Like, I think that they were just trying to put one over on people. and it backfired huge, big time on them. It backfired big time. All of that being said, just to talk about 3 specifically, besides Michael, I think that it's actually a pretty fun film. It's campy, it's cheesy, but but if you're gonna do this thing, you're calling it Season of the Witch, you've got Conal Cochran, who I think is a great villain. He's a great villain, has some really fun moments, but he doesn't have enough. So you've got this whole idea of him, being the witch, and um, the hills ran red, and now it's going to happen again. This big trick that we're playing on all of the children. That was fun stuff, but you gotta, and I know part of it was also, you know, this wasn't like a huge production. You don't have a lot of money, but I think it would have been cool if we had at least a scene or two where you had Cochrane doing something that would give you that sensibility of the whole witchcraft, right? He talked about it, and that was cool. And they had Stonehenge, but you didn't see it. You didn't see it. So that was kind of a downer, you know. As much fun as the film is, and as much fun that I can have with it. It's like, come on, you gotta give us a little bit more. If you're not gonna have Michael in it and you're gonna have Cochran in it, you gotta show Cochran doing his shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think that they executed that part of it as well as they could have. Okay, now let's see what you let's see what you guys say. It's also like when they did the switcheroo, you know, and at the end, obviously with the android and this and then, it was like, when did that happen? Come on, guys, what's going on? Now, there's a lot of different theories about, when they did the switcheroo. If you're a fan of Halloween 3, or if you've watched it enough, you've probably seen different theories or heard different theories of, how that could have happened. Because here's the thing, Dr. Chalice, obviously he is separate, he's separated. You got this scene where he's out and about, and you've got that guy that's drunk, right? And all the while you've got Ellie at the hotel alone, and or the motel, and that's probably when she was abducted and they did the switcheroo with the androids. But it's like, I don't know, they didn't really execute that too well either. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Um, Freddie says, I know y'all are gonna crap all over Halloween 3. Yes. Oh man. Let's see. Emperor saying, I'll defend Season of the Witch. I don't care. There you go. I like Season of the Witch too. Emperor saying, same night. I hated it as a kid, but loved it growing up. Yeah, man. It's like, again, it's one of those movies that as a kid, I just didn't understand, right? I'm like, where's Michael? Michael's not in it. I felt betrayed, all that type of stuff. And then um, when I was older, in my late teens, it might have been late teens or early 20s, I can't remember, but I just said, let me watch this movie. It was on during one of the marathons they would play of Halloween. I said, let me just watch it, and just because I hadn't seen it since I was a little kid. I was like 7 years old. I didn't remember it either. But I watched it and I was like, man, it's got some fun stuff in it. And look, I love Tom Atkins. So, okay. Uh Rory's saying love 3, but it was the first Halloween I saw. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Michael's on TV with the little commercial. And I knew Rachel was going to say this. No witches, no witches. Yes, I know that bad dudes are supposed to be witches, but they're really not. Where are the witches? Rachel, that's awesome. I know. I just said, look, they got to do more with Cochran. They got to, if you have a villain, you got to do more with him. Zed saying boo. Ah, let's see. Stuart said if the fog had been part 3, I think it would have been better. Maybe. Oh no. Rachel saying also blonde Tom Selleck gives me the ick. which I know is blasphemy. The actor is probably lovely, but his character is creepy. He has creepy moments in the movie. He really does. Yep. Yep. It's true. It's true. Mike say Halloween 3 is a thumbs down for me. I think the concept could be good, but the execution is bad. Yeah, they definitely needed to show more of um, the villain and of the threat. You know, Michael Myers not being in the movie doesn't change my opinion one way or the other. Cool. It's very cool. All right. Let's see. The mask melting into bugs was cool. It was. Paul is saying Michael not being in it and the twist at the end. Okay. Empress saying there was a transfer night. Come on now. BTT saying there was no time for that woman to be turned into a robot. I know. Like she just got there. It's like, how do you, there's no way that that works. Now, don't get me wrong. The element of seeing her as a robot at the end, it was like, oh man, that sucks. It was a gut punch. You know, it was an interesting twist, but yeah, it wasn't believable the way that it happened. Not at all. Raul in the chat, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Saying they should do Halloween 3 Part 2. That would be a cool title. Zed saying I watched Part 3 one time as a kid and I still hate it. There you go. Freddie saying Halloween 3 is great. Okay. We got people on both sides of the fence. It's always interesting. Let's do this. It can all be explained by druid magic. Yeah, there you go. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to put this as a poll for you guys. Are you a fan of Halloween 3? And it's just going to be a simple yes or no. Okay, so are you a fan of H3? Okay, so let's have you guys vote. I'm very curious to see what you guys will say. I know there's a lot of people that still have a lot of hate for it, but I know a lot of people have come around on Season of the Witch over the years. So let's have you guys vote. We got 30 people or almost 30 people in here. Let's get that many votes. Julie says we got 39 likes. Let's get to 40. Yes, 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 please. That would be great. Okay, so while we have you guys voting on that, I'm going to spin the wheel. We're going to see what our next movie is. We've only got a couple left. Let's go. Oh, crap. Here we go. There it is. The Return of Michael Myers. Listen, guys, I love a lot about Halloween 4. In general, it is one of my more favorite sequels, but it's got issues, guys. It's got issues. And obviously the first thing is the damn mask. That mask, guys, when I first saw this as a kid, my jaw dropped. And I'm going to tell you why. I saw the poster for it in our video store, our local video store, and I just love the poster for Halloween 4. I love it so much. It's a great poster. And of course, Halloween 5 is a riff off of 4, but it's got the original mask. It looks great. It's a very cool poster. I've got the poster. I've got the t-shirt. I love it. When I first saw Michael, I'm like, why on earth could they not get a mask that looked at least somewhat more like 78? It's just, come on, guys. We should do better than that. And I know that part of the explanation is, of course, they didn't keep the mask. Dick Warlock took the mask and did whatever he did with it. And Dwight Little said, well, it makes sense because Michael got a new mask, which, because his mask burned in the fire at the end of 2. I get all that, but still, man, this mask, it just did not look good. I still am not a fan of the mask. I'm used to it now. It's not the worst mask in the franchise. We've already covered I have a video I'm working on about the different masks in the franchise, but most of you guys already know. I think 4's mask is definitely not as bad as 5's. So that's just how that is. But the mask is horrible. That's number one. And probably one of my more passionate things about the film, the way it was marketed, with the cover and all that. It was just like, come on, guys, don't do that. The blonde mask, that was just, guys, just why couldn't they have edited that out? We didn't need to see Michael throwing Loomis through that door or that glass or whatever, right? They kept it in. It's like, why would they do that? They made a mistake. They picked up the wrong mask. For some reason, nobody said, bro, you got blonde hair for the mask. This is wrong. Let's not shoot this scene. Nobody, nobody was with it enough to figure that out. So they shot it and they didn't edit it out. Why wouldn't you edit that out? I don't understand that. It's just so crazy. Absolutely crazy. But other than that, I think there were a lot of great things in the film. Obviously, like I said earlier when we were talking about 5, Rachel and Jamie together were just great. I loved their interaction. It was heartwarming. There was tension. Like I said, at first they were at odds with each other, and it was believable. Ellie Cornell and Danielle Harris were really good together, which of course is why in 5 that's such a huge missed opportunity. They didn't continue that. But in 4, I think pretty much everything else is great. The ending is great. I do think that, a couple of things were a little unbelievable, like Michael on the truck. How is Michael? Listen, guys, there's no way. Like they go to the school, they pick up Jamie and Rachel. Michael Myers is not pulling an Indiana Jones on the bottom of the truck. He couldn't do that anyways with that truck. It's not built that way. There's not enough room for him to be hanging underneath the vehicle like that. And definitely not for as long as he did. And here's the other thing too. Let's say he did do that. Bro, how do you maneuver yourself to climb up into the back of the truck? It just doesn't work. That was just bad. I know they wanted to have a scene where Michael's on the truck and all that, but yeah, that was just bad shit. It's funny because you could find issues with all of these movies, no matter how much you love them. Rod saying, I think 3 should have never been part of the franchise. I think it hurt the movie's reception by the public. I agree. Zed saying 4 is his favorite. All right. Freddie saying the mask is awful and that's it. That's one of the biggest things. Emperor saying 4 is the best sequel after 2. Stewart saying the truck scene was amazing and the vigilante shooting the wrong person. The scene was amazing. It just didn't make sense because it's like there's no way Michael's hanging off that truck. It just thinking about it, when we did the watch party for Halloween 4, when we did Halloween Fest, which was a lot of fun, guys. If you're big fans of these movies and you have moments when you're bored or you want to watch a movie and you don't have a lot of people around or whatever, check out some of these watch parties, man, because we had so much fun talking about the films while we were enjoying them. And 4, we had some really good laughs. So anyways, that truck scene was ridiculous. Julie saying in Halloween 4 poster catfished us and did us super dirty. It's true. Rachel saying, I think Halloween 4's biggest blunder is that it just gets a bit boring in the middle. Solid opening, my favorite credits, and a good intro for Jamie, but then it drops off quickly. Best ending though. That's fair. It kind of lingers a little bit in the middle, I think. Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. I don't have an issue with it though. I really don't, because they gave us a lot of Michael doing Michael shit, and I was okay with that. But I could definitely understand some folks thinking it lagged a little bit in the middle. Rory saying the mask was from Wish. Paul, ooh, now this is good, guys. Paul is saying Loomis nearly killing Jamie Lloyd, dumb decision. So meaning, I'm assuming what you mean, Paul, is at the end when the stinger happens and Jamie's at the top of the steps and Loomis is no, and he's about to make a choice. So you're saying that was a bad decision. Guys, what do you think about that? This is a Yeah, I like this one. This is a good talking point. I thought it was a great idea. And I'm going to tell you why. You guys know what I always love, like, when talking about opinions is to give the reason, right? What it showed me, Paula, was how far Loomis was willing to go to make sure that what happened before, as far as Michael is concerned, will never happen again, even if it means, taking out a little child. That's what it showed me. And of course, he doesn't, he stopped. But I think it was actually a powerful moment, story wise, franchise wise, because again, he has this history with Michael. I thought it was a great moment. Um, and of course, for Donald, that's a moment that is like, wow. As a matter of fact, let's do a clip just to remember that moment a little bit, and we might get some help from someone else in there. So here we go.
What? What? I'm pro. What?
There we go. Guys, tell me what you think. I probably won't get to everyone's answer on this, but tell me what you think about that ending. Was Loomis nearly killing Jamie? Was that a bad choice? Paula, that was a great comment. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't agree with it, but it was a great comment and an interesting take. Okay, in the chat with the poll, let me also just let you guys know we had the poll up. Are you a fan of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? We had 20 votes, not bad. And a 75% saying yes, 25 saying no. Okay. All right. So, like I said, Season of the Witch has been getting love in the last, 20 years. Mike saying Halloween 4 is amazing except for the mask. Okay. Let's see. Val saying, the mask, family connection, the introduction to the thorn curse, Loomis going gangster and almost killing Jay. Oh, Val, so you're not a fan of the ending either. Wow. That is interesting. I think the ending is great. Now, granted, if he had, you know, killed her, or even if he shot at her, I don't think that would have been cool. I just think that would have gone too far. But the fact that he was willing to do it, I think it really was a strong moment for Loomis. The family connection. Um, l- Listen, you know how I feel. I think that the idea of Lori and Michael being brother and sister, I'm fine with it either way. I do think them not being brother and sister makes it a lot more creepy, the whole mystery of things. I like that better. But 4 is just following off of, what 2 started. So I don't really hold the family connection against 4 too much, if that makes sense. But this idea of the ending that Paula started and Val agrees. Let's talk about that for a moment. Um Freddie saying y'all are being really hard on the Halloween franchise. Well, I'll tell you what, Freddie, and the thing about it is, we've done a lot of Halloween content. I know you're newer here, but trust me, we've given a lot of love to the franchise in general. So this, but I wanted to be able to talk about things that were kind of missteps with all the films, even the good films. So, but there's definitely still a lot of love. I love this franchise so much. I really, really do. Okay. Let's see. I want to see if anybody Troy said he didn't indie it. He sideshow bobbed it. That was good, man. It's like, how do you get on the truck like that, man? Oh my God. Um, let's see. Michael can pull an Indiana Jones on any truck he wants to. There you go. Oh man. Now, Troy saying the mere fact there has to be discussion on mask is annoying. It's not like Freddy's makeup wear changes due to wanting to get it on quicker for budget or the actor. It's a mask. Why such variance? Agreed. For it was an absolute sin to have that mask look like that. There's no doubt about that. And unfortunately, it carried through, a couple of other films. So, okay. We got JPEG in the house. Now, BTT, here we go. Because I was wondering what you guys thought. BTT saying, no, that was awesome. Now, what if Loomis did kill Jamie and got put in Smith's Grove? A twist on an already tragic ending. Yeah, that would have been crazy. But I wouldn't want to see him kill Jamie. I don't want to see Loomis as Sartain. Loomis, to me, what made him such a great character, or part of what made him such a great character, he's Van Helsing. He is the good, right? Against all odds, he's outnumbered, outgunned. There's no way that he can beat Michael, really, but he's going to keep trying. That's what I love about his character. So to see him kill a little girl, I think that would have destroyed that aspect of him as a character, in my opinion. Okay. Let's see. So no one else has a thought on that. I thought the ending. Yeah, okay. So Stuart saying one of the best twist endings. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Freddie saying the second best ending alongside H2O. Here we go. Rachel saying Loomis nearly killing Jamie feels very in character, especially since he met Michael as a child and knows that evil can start young. That's exactly where I'm coming from. Again, I don't want to see him do it. I don't even want to see him shoot the gun off and miss, let's say. I don't want to see that. But the fact that he was going to just shows the weight of what this has been in his life, knowing Michael since he was a little boy, staring at the wall, looking at the wall, watching past the wall. So yeah, Mike saying it's not a bad choice. It shows Michael's doctor's slow descent into madness continued into part 5. Okay, Emperor saying it was the best decision because if it was going to Michael, it makes sense to have someone there to try to stop it from happening again. Yep. Yep. Let's see. Dominic's in the house. What's up, Dominic? Good to see you. And Paula's saying, for me, in the other movies, he was the one who was trying to save people, seeing a beloved character with good morals, just wrong. Well, I get it. It was definitely him going to that edge, right? He was definitely going to that edge where he could have definitely crossed over into just an evil asshole, against this little girl. But he didn't. But I thought it was a brave choice, and I really thought it was effective. Let's see. Freddie said, I'm not really new here. Well, I mean, what I mean is like, because we've been talking Halloween for like 5 years. And I think, and of course, my brother Killian would agree, and Coriander as well. I mean, we love talking about these films. And I think that, very rarely have we ever spent time like this in, a dedicated amount of time to talk about all the issues with the franchise. I think that's really what I was meaning. Let's see. Okay. And Dominic said, how do they mess up the mask? I know, man. I know. Super Tenor's heading out. Have a good night, man. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And hope you have a good night. And hope to see you on Thursday. Julie saying, I love the ending. Same here. Val saying it started the path of Loomis just becoming obsessed and insane, not rational like he was in the OG and 2 when hunting the shape. Well, that's a good point, too. I do enjoy him better when, he actually was sane, because I think that he was a sharper character. But, having Donald in so many films, I understand why they wanted to depict him differently, which makes sense. He can't just be the same throughout all of these films. So it's a catch-22, kind of like what we were talking about last night with Freddy's Dead. You become a victim of your own success as a film or as a character. People love the character so much and they want to see more of them, but that you don't want them to be tired of the character, right? Okay. I think we're caught up there. Freddie saying, I like talking about these movies. Same here. Same here. I thought that this would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Dominic saying, I feel like Dr. Loomis and Tommy Jarvis would make a good team up. Yeah, I think so too. hmm Um, and Val saying, giving lots of love to the Halloween franchise. Check out the Halloween Great Debate. Yeah, we went through every film. It was great. It was great. Thank you so much for putting the link there, Val. Much appreciated. Okay, guys, let's see what we get for the next film. We got 6 choices left. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Now, I'm going to ask a question to you, just for the fun of it. In the chat, can anyone guess what the biggest issue I have with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is? Just throw it out there real quick. I know there's a lag in the chat, so when I say something, it might be 20 or 30 seconds before you hear it. But just throw it out there real quick, just for the fun of it. What do you think is my biggest issue with Halloween 2? And we'll see what you guys say. And as I'm waiting for that, real quick too in the chat, we've got Troy coming in with a $10 super chat, man. Thank you so much. Saying completely random, but props for the newer Lawnmower Man clip. Although I really love people getting freaky. Bet that room is stinky. 50 Shades of Grey. All right, white people. I'm sure you'll get it. Hey, look. When I played that, Eric started shaking his head. It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. All right, so look, real quick, Joy, because I've got a whole bunch of Halloween clips too. But let's do this. Let's do this. Just when you think you want to see more Lawnmower Man. Look at this.
Throw me a bone. I said, Lawnmower Man. Get up off of my lawn.
There we go. Oh man. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh Lord. Okay. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Stuart is saying the White Horse. Freddie's saying Loomis. Okay. Emperor saying I effing love Halloween 2. Hate me, I don't care. Hey, if you love it, that is great. All of these movies, I can watch all these movies as I've done with you guys in watch parties and so forth. So, Rachel, you stop. You stop. Oh, Lord. We love Hobo Myers. Okay. Val, you cheat. You give it a bunch of answers here. White Horse, Hobo Myers, Michael, barely any mask. Empress saying the White Horse. Paula, you got it. Hobo, Michael. Listen, guys. You don't do Michael Myers like that. He is literally a panhandler. He's walking through fields. He's eating dogs. What are we doing? And he doesn't even have the mask. The mask is like 50% of a mask. Just don't wear the mask. Just be a hobo. Just be a hobo that's killing. We'll call you Michael Myers. That would have been better. Now, the opening sequence of The Dream, he has the mask. And I thought that was very effective. I think that was very effective. But it's so quick, right? It's so quick. You just listen. Michael is the biggest issue I have in this film. And it is so ironic to say because it's a Halloween movie and I love Michael Myers. I just think they went way too far to the left. He's a hobo. He's grunting. He's talking. What what are we doing? Just saying it out loud. I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. He's so violent, outwardly violent. And I think, and again, it is what it is, but I think when he's shown as that calm, walking slow killer and he's just killing, he's just wrecking shop and he doesn't even break a sweat. That's creepy. That's scary. I mean, he's grunting, he's lifting cars like Lou Ferrigno. What are we doing? What are we doing? Hobo Myers. That's what it is. Julie said hobo. You know what's up. Rachel said Hobo Myers for the win. You guys know me so well. Troy said Hoboken Myers. I like it. Stewart said Michael speaking at the end of it. That was a big issue. Now, I'm speaking about Michael in general, but that speaking at the end, they didn't need to do that. No. Die. Come on, man. Really? They- just thinking about it, I'm just like, what are we doing? That's right. Rory said, "Why you hate Halloween too?" Well, watch it. That's why. Yes, watch my Why You Hate Halloween too. That was a really fun one to put together, and I think it was a really good episode. Um, check out all my Why You Hate videos, man. I just put out Terrify 3 the other day. I know a lot of people are iffy on some love it, some hate it. I approached it like I do with all the films in the Why You Hate series. I'm in the middle. I'm talking about the issues that I know folks talk about, and seeing if there's any way to counter that. Sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. But anyways, um, but there are other issues with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think Loomis was ridiculous in Halloween 2. Why? There was no reason for him to, and I know they were trying to show him, fame caught his eye, and they were kind of um, using, lawyers and real life characters to kind of like Dr. Phil and all that type of stuff to kind of emulate and change up the character a bit. I agree. It's nice to try to change up the character, but he became something that was unrecognizable as Loomis. That was not Dr. Loomis. And then at the very end, like on a whim, boop, he's like, let me go save Lori. Why? Why now? He's selling books, getting money. I just didn't think it worked. It just didn't work to me. Um, I know some people do appreciate it, and that's fine, but I really didn't. Yep. Um, Troy saying I love Halloween 2, but I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise, so I like it for being different. That makes sense. Yeah. Freddie saying Loomis is clearly the worst thing about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. He's up there. He's up there. Hobo Michael was basically Rob Zombie on steroids. Yes. Oh my God. JPEG saying the 81 hospital tribute that lasted about 20 or 25 minutes. I don't know if it was 25 minutes. I think it was, maybe like 15 minutes. But again, being a nightmare, it's like, yeah. Emperor saying the best thing about it was showing Lori slowly breaking throughout the film until she finally gives in. The idea that she went insane was interesting. I think the way it was executed, I think that you didn't, well, at least for me, I didn't care about Lori the way I should have, and definitely not the way I wanted to. You know what I mean? I was much more invested in Annie. I think if they had shown Lori um more likable, I think that would have strengthened not only the film but her arc, and even Rob Zombie himself. And again, you can check it out in my Why You Hate Halloween 2 episode. Rob Zombie himself said he realized that he was making Laurie Strode very unlikable. She lashes out at everyone. She's, a potty mouth. She doesn't respect anyone, and it's like, well, again, that's, kind of his aesthetic, showing broken people to that extreme. And I just think it was too extreme. I really do. Obviously, the white horse, Sherry Moon Zombie's depiction as Deborah now being um, a vengeful vision in his mind or whatever. That was kind of ridiculous. The Return to Oz reference. That's a good point, JPEG. With those things looking at Lori in a clear casket, that was weird shit, man. It's like Rob Zombie was on some stuff, right? He wanted to make, his own movie, and I get it based upon what he dealt with the studios. I get it. But again, Halloween has a certain lane. It has a certain lane, just like an Elm Street film has a certain lane, or a Conjuring film, or a Saw film. And I just think that he went so far out of that lane, it was very unrecognizable, and it was hard to get invested. Now, unless, and like some people said in the chat, it's their first film, or if they're not big fans of the franchise, it's a different story. Yeah. Stewart saying killing off Danielle Harris was sad, but the acting by Brad Dourif to her death was top notch. It was. I think Daniel Harris and Brad Dourif and Scout were, the best things about the film. Their acting was great. I didn't feel fully invested in Laurie as a character, but I think Scout did a hell of a job. And again, I don't think they should have made her so unlikable. And Rob Zombie said the same thing. So I think that was an error. Yeah. BTT saying he loved the grunting when he stabbed Octavia. Yeah, it was 157 times. Listen, to me, it's very visceral. I remember seeing it in the theater and just like, wow, you can feel that anger. But I just think that Michael is so effective as that silent killer with no emotion, right? That's what Michael's supposed to be all about. That's why the mask, it works so well because it's such a blank, quote unquote, shape of a man, right? When he's angry and he's grunting and he's talking and he's panhandling, he's not Michael Myers anymore, which is why Hobo Myers is my biggest issue. So thank you for putting that link in there, Val, for the Why You Hate playlist. I appreciate that. Definitely, guys, if you could check that out. I think that my hope for 2025, just to take a second to park off of this discussion for a minute. My hope for 2025 is to continue to, do some really cool content, or as cool as, we can hope to make it, and some fun live streams where we can get together and talk like this and hang out. And you guys, being a community together. And I'm hopeful that, like the Y8 videos, the Elm Street debates, or the debate series, I should say, that people, continue to enjoy them, and I think these are hopefully great things to watch in your downtime. If you're bored, if you're on long drives, which I take long drives every week. And I usually, that's usually when I watch, or basically listen, I should say, to some of my favorite live streams and so forth. So definitely check those out. It helps the channel so much. It helps us to do more of that type of stuff. And it also helps us to do things like this tonight. This was kind of, an idea that I had, and I had a little bit of extra time because I didn't have to work my second job. And I was like, well, let's hang out. And that's kind of why I did that tonight. But the support that you guys give to the channel helps us to do that. So thank you so much. Rory saying, I love the Why You Hate. I just finished all of them. Well, thank you so much. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time for each video. That's been one challenging thing, is time. Not having a lot of time, but I'm putting in the hours, and I'm having fun doing it, and I'm glad that there are folks that are enjoying it. So thank you for that, Rory. I appreciate it. I really do. Let's see. JPEG saying Loomis isn't supposed to be a douchebag, a douche jerk, scum individual. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Gory Tiger's in the chat. Chuck's in the chat. What's up, guys? Palpatine is in the house. What's going on? If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps us out. It helps us out. Let's see. I don't see anything new. Oh yeah, BTT saying, one thing I love about Rob Zombie is that he uses typecasted actors in completely different roles. Yeah, I think that is one of the things I enjoyed the most about these two films. Troy saying H2 feels kind of like The Last of Us 2. Let's take these characters you love and take them to the worst possible places. Yeah, well said. I just don't think it was the best choice. I know, Chuck. I hate it when he says died too. It's just, what are we doing? Mag is in the house saying, damn, I just got in. I hate that I missed this. Well, we still got a little bit longer. We're gonna be closing down soon. We're not gonna get through all the movies, which, I had a feeling we may not. But I wanted to be able to talk with you guys and not just at you. But check out the replay. This has been a lot of fun, and we've touched upon a lot of great things. And you guys have come up with some great stuff. But let's do this. Let's spin the wheel one more time and see what movie we get. Hopefully it's not the one movie that I have in my mind. I want it to get to something that'll be really cool. And I think it'd be a good way to close out this stream. And we'll have to just continue it, do a part 2. All right. All we got left is Halloween, Halloween 2, H2O, Kills, and The Curse of Michael Myers. Let's see what gets chosen. Ooh, Halloween 2, 1981, guys. All right, this will be our final one. So, guys, as fast as you can, tell me what issues you have with 1981's Halloween 2. Um, right off the bat, I'm gonna just throw out a couple. I do love Halloween 2 when we watched it during Halloween Fest. It was just, yeah, it was just so much fun to watch. I think that, and we know that Carpenter didn't want to do a 2. We know that he, drank a lot of beer trying to put this thing together. I know some folks will say the sibling angle is the biggest issue. It's not for me. It is an issue. I do think that it works better where Michael and Laurie are not siblings, but I've never hated the idea. You know, I've never absolutely hated the idea. Halloween 2 was actually the first Halloween movie I ever saw. So maybe that was part of it. I came into it seeing them as brother and sister. And even when I went back and watched the original, I was like, oh man, she doesn't even know that's her brother coming after her. So yeah, yeah, it's one of those things, but I don't hate it. I don't hate that idea. But I do think having Lori incapacitated as much as they did, I think that was a mistake. Because now you have to focus on other things. And Jamie Lee Curtis is just really amazing. She's just great in this role. And I think that you could have easily had, the finale was fantastic. You know, if she wasn't, you know, um, so doped up and out of it, kind of comatose at moments, you could have had maybe another sequence where she was chased by Michael, or maybe, hiding from Michael, or whatever. There could have been 1,000 things you could have done. Her relationship with Jimmy could have been strengthened if she was more in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being just laying there and at times not even having much dialogue. I think that was a mistake. I know they wanted to continue this right after the events of the original, and she was hurt and injured and all that. But I mean, again, guys, I think they could have done. I think they could have done a little bit better on that. I know that Julie will also say the wig. Or actually, look, Val said the wig. It's so funny though. When I was a kid, I never really focused on the wig. I just saw Jamie Lee Curtis, and I was just like, hey, that was actually the first. Yeah, it probably was the first film I ever saw of Jamie Lee Curtis, and instantly just loved her. So, but yeah, that wig. Freddie says the brother sister angle. Yep, I know a lot of people are big about that. JPEG saying the better H2. It's definitely the better. It's definitely the better. Stuart calling out the wig. Rachel going with the sibling issue, the sibling angle. Emperor saying my only issue making them siblings. Other than that, it's perfect. Okay. Let's see what else. Um, BTT saying, I know people love it, but Michael's walk irritated me. It was a bit too robotic and slow. The fastest slow walker of all time. Listen, the one area, and I did a Why You Hate Halloween 2 for 1981. So check that out if you guys haven't, or if you haven't watched it in a while, check it out again. That would definitely help. Um, I called out that scene, man, when he's walking down the stairs. Like, he's defying gravity. It's like Dick Warlock, man. That walk is so crazy. Um, but they never called him out for it on set. And I know Deborah Hill, rest in peace, Deborah Hill. She was fantastic. But according to Dick Warlock, she never criticized his walk or his demeanor on set. And I guess at some point down the road, she thought that his physicality was off, and she wasn't a fan of the way he portrayed Michael. But yeah, that walking, man, walking down upstairs, crazy. Freddie also calling out the robotic movements. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Um, yeah, they killed Ben Tramer. You know, a couple of goofs, right, in the film. You know, when Ben gets hit by the car and he's face down, and then when they look at him, he's up against the van or whatever. Yeah, a couple of goofs too. Chuck doesn't like the sibling angle. Let's see. What else? H.L. saying, love Halloween too. Me too. Me too. Rory saying, feels rushed, but now I know it was fair enough. I think it's decent, but Laurie isn't in it enough. Yeah, I think that was a huge issue. JPEG, this is a great point, saying Sheriff Brackett taking an early leave of absence. Yeah, it was too bad that he wasn't able to be a part of it more. I enjoyed Hunt, you know, but yeah, it's too bad that. But of course, you know, Annie was killed, so it made enough sense. It made enough sense. Rod saying, "Yep, he agrees. She just limped around in a few scenes for the most part. Making her comatose was a mistake, especially after they laid the brother sister part on us. Yeah, I think that was a disservice to Jamie Lee Curtis. Yep, I agree. And Paula is calling it out. And this was the last point I was going to make. The emptiest hospital of all time. There is no one. Look, there is no one in this hospital. How is this possible? I love the atmosphere of it though, but there is nobody there. If you live in Haddonfield, you better not have to go to the hospital. That little kid with the razor in his mouth, he was lucky that he got some attention because there's nobody there. BTT said Warlock's knees must have been burning. I know, man. Walking down the stairs like that, it took him like 5 seconds to go to each step. It's crazy. I talked about it in the video too. Yeah, they definitely could have put more people in the hospital. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And of course, at the end, man, Loomis makes the decision. And look, we know there's at least babies in the hospital. He blows up the entire east wing of Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. That was just crazy. I mean, I don't have a huge issue with it because he was just thinking he's got to kill Michael. But yeah, that was that was great. Vinyl in the house. What's up? Empty and dark. I assume this is how all hospitals were until about seventh grade when I went to one. Yeah, I know, right? As a kid, this was my image of a hospital too. And hospitals always creeped me out. BTT. Yo, Loomis killed 742 babies in the East Wing of HMH. It's like, look, that explosion was huge, right? Man, he made a choice. He made a choice. And as much as that's a crazy decision, I don't know if I'd say it's dumb, but it's a crazy decision. You know, he wanted to stop the shape at all costs, you know, and it makes sense because obviously that carries on into 4 where he's ready to take care of Jamie. You know what I'm saying? So Vinyl Vinyl Horror saying, I was laughing at the Why You Hate Halloween 2 the other night when Loomis blew up the East Wing. That's right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, it's fun talking about these movies. And, I've loved these movies since I was a little kid. And anytime I get a chance to talk about them, I take that opportunity. I'm truly a fan, even of the bad things. But I love to have fun with it. And you can have a lot of fun with the Halloween franchise. And even in Halloween 2, man, it's like, you know, as a kid, I didn't think about that. As I got older, and especially as a content creator, I was like, wait a minute. Loomis must have killed people. It's gotta be, you know, it's gotta be some people in there. Um Troy, Troy saying Halloween 2 is proof that if you just give Carpenter enough beer, he can pump out a good Friday sequel. Right. Oh, that's, you know what? I like that. I like that because that was the thing, right? Because they started to see what the other slashers were doing and the more violence and Tom Savini stuff and Friday the 13th. So they had to try to keep up with it. Um, good point. Good point. All right, guys, this was a hell of a lot of fun, but we still got a couple of movies left. We'll have to finish this up in another stream, a part two, because we still have H2O, which I got a lot of stuff to talk about. H2O. We've got The Curse of Michael Myers. You already know. We've got Kills, and that'll be a fun conversation. And we've got the original, which who knows? You guys might be surprised about a couple of things that might have rubbed me the wrong way, even with the Immortal Classic. So we'll have to finish that up. But do this for me, guys. I couldn't get to everyone's comment. It's just impossible to do that. But in the comment section, let us know some of your issues. Okay, it doesn't have to be an issue for every film, but let us know some of your biggest issues, and that'll be fun because we can continue the conversation that way when I have time to kind of stop, sit back, and read everyone's ideas. Rachel saying this was a really fun stream night. Also, I know deep down you love Hobo Myers. Oh man, you're all right, Rachel. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you had fun with this. I did too. I really did. And I could talk about it forever because there's just so many things about this franchise. It's a roller coaster, but I also think that's part of the charm of it, right? Val saying to you guys, please leave a comment. And I agree. It helps us out a lot, but it also gives you guys a chance to continue the conversation. If you're not a part of our Patreon, we have a messenger chat, which you can access for free. There's nothing cheaper than free. So I'm really trying to galvanize the community to have more time to talk to you guys, because when we do live streams, especially when we have a topic in mind, you have to get through the topic. You can't just stop all the time. There's a lot of conversations that you guys have. A lot of it is great stuff too, but can't get a chance to talk about all those things. So comment section, community tab for you members, Patreon chat. Those are ways that we can continue the conversation and go even deeper into those ideas. So, okay. You guys are too funny. That's right. Ring the notification bell. It definitely helps. Hit the like. You guys are awesome. Rory, glad you had a great time, and the rest of you guys had a great time. This was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll see a few of you guys on Thursday night. We're going to have a fun time with our members watch party. It's going to be a blast. Last week we had a blast, a lot of fun on the panel, just dealing with the ins and outs of the substance. We're going to have a fun time with late night with the devil. It's going to be a great time. And thank you, Vinyl, for the super chat right at the end. Help rebuild the East Wing of HMH. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. Look, let's just do a really quick clip. And it's not about HMH, but you guys get the point. Because again, when we're talking about Halloween, one thing that always comes to my mind is this.
Let the dangertainment begin out there.
There you go. And Troy, channel member anniversary for Troy, 13 months. Man, thank you so much for all your support, always being so much fun in the chat. Saying, just remember, if you're here, night is and we are the cream. We are, man. Let's do that one too, man, because that always brings a smile to my face too. And I know you love it. Here we go.
But the cream, yeah, let me say it here. Let me say it out loud. Yeah, you mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream. I am the cream, yeah.
There it is. There it is. You gotta love it. And BTT saying, damn, I gotta see the substance. I heard it was BTT. I'm telling you, we had a blast watching it. Again, just putting it out there, we had our members watch party last week. It is available for members if you ever want to watch it and have us there commenting as well. It was great commentary and reactions from the panel. It was so much fun. We had so many laughs. But hey, if you want to become a member, just hit the join button next to the subscribe button. We appreciate the support, and we do a lot of exclusive stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for all the support. This has been a lot of fun. Leave a comment. Let's keep talking about it. And we will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.